So, you know how in the video above I mentioned that I was jumping straight in and not taking any time, and I was already in the middle of things? Well, one of the things I forgot to do while I was rushing right in is thoroughly reread the recipe. I make these all the time, so I thought, I know how I'm doing this. This isn't a problem. So I just scanned the recipe, clicked it all through my head, and went for it. The problem is, in my head, I was supposed to boil the syrup and sugar for 5 minutes. And while I was doing that, I noticed that it looked really kind of big and foamy for a little while, and then it kind of settled a little bit and got very clear and everything. And it didn't seem quite right when I mixed the peanut butter in, and then it seemed very odd when I mixed in the Special K, because it wasn't as liquidy. It actually had gotten a little bit thicker, and it didn't seem to cover as well. And I thought, this is really weird. But I did 2 batches of it yesterday thinking, this is the right way to do it. And then, well, I tried to cut into it. And if you watch the video that's after this one, you'll see what happened there. But because, if you boil a sugar syrup like that for too long, you can end up with something that becomes brittle instead of becoming chewy. These are called frosted chews, not frosted Special K brittle. That was a problem. Like I said, watch the video below, you'll see what happened. So today, on the other hand, I made them again. I paid attention to the recipe, and I'm going to cut off a little bit here. I love the edges because there's almost always a little extra chocolate. So I don't know if you may not have heard that. It was just kind of the sound of a knife going through, cereal and goodness. So they're chewy, they're bendy. They're really, really good. The Special K stays just a little bit crispy, which is really nice. It's a good texture in this. The chocolate, because it's simply melted chocolate chips and melted butterscotch chips, can get a little soft when it gets warm, so you get it all over your thumbs if you're not careful. But they're really, really good. They take me back to my childhood. They also take me back to last Christmas, because they're something that we've always had in the family. And they're really great, and that's one of the things that I think, these aren't really baking, so I'm not going to say baking this time of year, but I think working in the kitchen this time of year really connects me to growing up and to my family, and I love it. Go ahead, watch the video below if you want to see what happens when you do it wrong, but this is what happens when you do it right. So I'm hoping to be here next week. With the holiday and everything, I might be on hiatus for a couple weeks. We'll see what happens. But for now, some Special K bar, and of course that means it's cereal, which goes with milk, which makes this breakfast, maybe? And there's peanut butter for protein too, so sounds good to me. All right, see you in a little while. Happy holidays.